So we appreciate your patience. We can start late, but we cannot start early. So we have 2 more minutes of hanging out. Okay. Yep. All right, we'd like to welcome you and call to order the regular meeting of the West Valley City Council. It is October 10th, 2023. We're beginning the meeting at 6:30 p.m. in the City Council chambers of West Valley City Hall. We have all members of the council present electronically or at the dais. We have Councilman Fitzsimmons and Councilman Hune on Zoom, and at the dais we have Councilman Whetstone, Councilman Harmon, Councilman Christensen, Councilman Norfelt, and myself. We're also joined by Steve Pastrick, our Community Development Director, and Nicole Kamick, our City Recorder. We'll now go to our opening ceremony, and I'll turn the time to Councilman Harmon.
Thank you, Mayor. If you'll stand and repeat the Pledge of Allegiance with me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, the nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll now move to our minutes, and I'll turn the minutes of October 3rd, 2023 to the council for discussion or a motion.
I move for approval of those minutes.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and those pass unanimously. Thank you. All right, we now have our public comment period. So tonight we do have one public hearing for GPZ 7 2023. So if you have comments concerning that, it would be best to give those comments during the public hearing portion. This is public comment for just the general public. Okay, Mr. Pastrick Dax looked at me like I was saying something wrong. Okay, so we'll now accept public comment. Comment period is limited to 30 minutes. Any person wishing to comment shall limit their comments to 3 minutes. Upon recognition from the mayor, you will approach the microphone. If you did not sign up, please give us your name and address. Otherwise, please just give us your name at the podium. All comments shall be directed to the mayor. No one addressing the council during the comment period shall be allowed to comment more than once. Speakers should not expect a debate with the mayor, council, or staff. We will have our opportunity to address those comments within the 30 minutes. And speakers shall refrain from personal attacks against fellow citizens, city staff, or members of the council. So here's my little sign-up sheet. So speaker one.
Hi. Hopefully I can keep it to 3 minutes because I got 2 pages. I'm here on behalf of my husband and myself to address code enforcement in the city. We've had a long history with property here. At the property that I'm going to discuss here. In the past, it's been referred to Cooperville. This is who originally owned the property, along with the land that surrounded the area. Then it was sold to Eugene and Patricia Wilkins. Since their passing, it's now owned by the Wilkins Family Property LC. I've all sent you an email on 9/12/23 with regards to concerns about the 6.6 acres of property at 3815 South, 6000 West. We've lived in our home since 1979 for 44 years. We're not looking to file any civil suit or come after the city. All we want is the laws in our cities to be enforced. I have written to the code enforcement in 21, 22, 23, and listed concerns with some of the neighbors' properties, along with a list of concerns of the property at this address. I have noticed that code enforcement has been able to get a few of the neighbors to start cleaning up their yards. I'd like to thank, and I'm going to probably ruin his name, but Kaniki Tonga for his help in this area. However, in 2022, we had one of the trees come down and break our fence between my house and the neighbor. From that address I've given, when I contacted the management company that's maintaining the property, which is Mike Lettingham at the time, he said he would come out and assess the damage, but it was the owner who came out and spoke with my neighbor. She let my neighbor know it was considered an act of God. She would not be doing anything about it. My neighbor told her she needed to come talk to me at the time, and she chose not to do so. It was shortly after that I received an email from Mike at Lettingham Properties telling us how he explained the same thing to him and that he included 2 links talking about the issue. Our fence needed to be replaced because of the age, so we went ahead and replaced the portion of the fence along with the cleanup. At the time, I sent a list of the total cost to Lettingham Properties, which of course she did not pay. To define act of God from the insurance perspective, act of God refers to natural disasters. The phase generally brings to mind hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, hail, or floods. Poor maintenance and not taking preventive measures is not an act of God. 1 year later, this year, the 28th of August, another tree snapped in half. Luckily, no one was in the backyard or at the school at the time. And was hurt. They finally showed up to remove the tree. However, the school fence and ours is still broke. I have many pictures I can share with you showing how large the tree was. Again, how lucky nobody was hurt. We had asked code enforcement to come out and look at the damage, but code enforcement has advised us it is not a civil matter. I understand they cannot make her clean up or pay for the damage. However,
Beth, so you may come back next week. Well, next week, I mean, in 2 weeks and finish up.
can
We
I
have to
give
stay
you
for-
a copy of this?
Yes, you may. If you want to hand it to Ms. Kamick on the corner, that would be great.
And copies of all my,
Everything you would like to leave with us, and she'll
Okay.
get us a copy of all of it. Thank you. Okay, speaker 2.
I'm Michael Dye. I live on Sandwell Court or Sandwell Drive, sorry. I have a short prepared statement, which I'll present now. In GPZ 5/2023, Wasatch Acquisitions and Capital proposes to rezone a 40-acre plot of land interior to the Highbury neighborhood to MXD or mixed use. The MXD zone permits the development of 455 new units and resort-style amenities that are unwanted by residents. Residents of Highbury oppose the zone change. We are concerned that it will substantially decrease the safety of neighborhood children. The proposal does this by bringing anonymous people to the community with the addition of 391 hotel, condo, and apartment units. Further, 455 more units total in Highbury will increase traffic-related danger for kids. The interior of our neighborhood today comprises about 200 homes. There will be increased road traffic, accidents, and parking problems. 1,100 new parking stalls are proposed within the neighborhood. Peak traffic periods for the community already stretch infrastructure, and the traffic study that was commissioned by the developer missed peak times today, and also is outside of the window of these bang girder changes that are currently being undertaken. It will also yield an increase in neighborhood crime and decrease in neighborhood privacy. It will prevent community members from enjoying their properties, both recreationally and as workplaces. Excessive noise will come from resort-style amenities, which include pickleball courts, a surf training pool, and outdoor lounge areas. There will be significant disruption in the community from the planned 2-year commercial construction project, which includes structures like a 6-story hotel. We urge you to join the West Valley City Planning Commission in denying this proposal on the grounds that the existing zone R18 is valuable and the proposed development doesn't belong in the community. Thanks.
Thank you. Was there anyone else that wished to speak that did not have an opportunity to sign up? Okay, seeing none. Anybody online? Okay, thank you. We will now turn the time to Mr. Pastrick. Did you have any comments?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll turn time to the council. Any comments? Okay, thank you. We'll now go to our first public hearing regarding application GPZ 7 2023. I'll turn the time to Mr. Pastrick.
Thank you, Mayor. This first application is a request to amend the city's general plan and zoning submitted by Christopher Clifford. The property here is at 5143 West 35th South. Altogether, there's 3 properties that total just under 5 acres. The request would be to amend the general plan from what's currently a combination of mixed use and large lot residential to small lot residential, and the zoning from the A zone or the agricultural zone to the RM zone. If this application is approved, the applicant intends to develop a what we refer to as a planned unit development or PUD of 21 units. That would be mostly twin home type units, so 2 units in a building. And included with both the general plan change and zone change is a development agreement that includes standards for this proposal. Just a couple of things that to update the council, we did receive a petition in support of the application. Then also a little bit earlier today, we received a petition that opposed the road connection that's proposed as part of this project. So you'll notice in this image, there is the Kiowa Way basically dead ends at the east edge of this property, and the concept plan would extend Kiowa Way into this property and then connect up to 35th South. And so the petition we received today opposes that road connection to 35th South.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the council for Mr. Pastrick? Okay, seeing none, we will open the public hearing. There's also a 3-minute time limit, 5-minute time limit on your comments, and we have the timer for you. So whoever would like to start out.
Mayor and the City Council. My name is Chris Clifford. I'm the applicant on this project. You may recall a year ago, we had come before you with a slightly more dense project and with private streets. And since that time, of course, the ordinance with respect to streets, which seemed to be the principal argument against the project, have changed. So with this development, as Steve has so amply described, this is a much less dense project. It's a little smaller because we have eliminated a portion of the previous project to the south of us. So it's instead of a 6 acre, it's a 4.34 acre property. This is the request for a zone change, and part of this, of course, as you well know, includes a concept. That concept was put forward as a twin home, a combination of twin home and single family in a much less dense concentration of homes. What we try to do in this case was to prepare a concept that was more consistent with the neighborhood. The neighborhood is surrounded by R800, R1800, excuse me, 8,000, R18, 8,000 foot lots, which would be 5 units an acre. And this project proposes a 4.8 acre density. So it's I would say compatible with that neighborhood. Within the general plan outlines that were identified as goals within the plan, it talked about infill project. This is an infill project, and the compatibility with respect to this and how it's laid out generally conforms to what I would consider if you will, a single family subdivision. In fact, the homes are going to be designed and built to a very high standard. These would be homes that, as we have proposed in the development agreement, at minimum of 1,650 square feet with basements, then that would be close to 3,000 square feet. For 2-story homes with basements, it would be close to almost 4,000 square feet. These are larger than any homes in the neighborhood, which would then increase the property values significantly when compared to comparable properties in the neighborhood. I'd like to talk a little bit about the PUD or the planned development that's underway. This is all part of a development agreement. And while the site plan, of course, is to be approved following the zone change, I think it's important to consider that with respect to the reasons why this project should be approved. Clearly, the advantages of a PUD provide for conformity and consistency. What we see generally in single-family home developments is you have multiple looks and feels. Some property owners maybe take a little more pride than their neighbors. You know, in this kind of a development, because of a strong homeowners association and under the requirements of a CC&R, you're going to have highly well-managed and maintained product that would perhaps be not evident in a single-family subdivision with people who have maybe different maintenance sensibilities. Again, some people like to maintain their properties and some don't. So consistency, that offered a very high value proposition that would not exist in a single family subdivision. One of the other reasons why PUDs work so well is there's a greater sense of community. People look out for one another. There's a sense of place. As a consequence, crime is less. There's a much higher sense of security in these kinds of developments. Along with the development agreement, we've agreed to very high standards of.
Okay.
That's it.
That's it. Thank you so much. All right. Was there anyone else that would like to address this issue? Okay, seeing none, we will close the public hearing and I'll turn it to the council. Our first action item would be to consider the general plan change, which is ordinance 23-37 to the council.
I guess just maybe a clarifying question. Regardless of the zoning, the road has to go through if there's a development here for safety reasons or no?
So what the ordinance requires is whenever we have a subdivision on a property where there's a stub street, there's two options. Either the stub street would need to be terminated in a cul-de-sac, or the road would need to be extended through. So in other words, we can't just have the stub street just dead in there and not have some kind of terminating point to that. So either of those would be an option, either a cul-de-sac or basically an extension of the road through the property and continuing up to 35th South.
And there's an example of that in the presentation from last year's application. It had a cul-de-sac ending right there, correct?
Correct. The difference in that proposal was the rest of the streets were private.
Yeah.
Under that concept.
But it would give us an idea of what it would look like.
Correct.
Okay.
I would move to approve ordinance 2337 to amend the general plan.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Ms. Kamic.
Councilman Fitzie Umanu.
Aye.
Councilman Whitstone,
Yes.
Councilman Harmon,
Yes.
Councilman Hune,
Aye.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
and Mayor Ling.
No.
Motion passes by majority.
Okay, thank you. We'll now move to our next action item, which is the zone change, which is ordinance 23-38.
I move for approval of ordinance 23-38.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Ms. Kamic.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Hune,
Yes.
Councilman Harmon,
Yes.
Councilman Whitstone,
Yes.
Councilman Fitzie Umanu,
Aye.
Mayor Ling.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, our next consideration is resolution 23-142, which is the development agreement.
I move for approval of resolution 23-142.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Ms. Kamic.
Councilman Fitzie Umanu.
Aye.
Councilman Whitstone,
Yes.
Councilman Harmon,
Yes.
Councilman Hune,
Yes.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
and Mayor Ling.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, thank you. We'll now move on to our unfinished business application GPZ 8-2023. We'll turn the time to Mr. Pastrick.
Thank you, Mayor. So this item was discussed at the council's meeting last week, and the council voted to continue the application. The council will recall a gentleman from Magna Water came to the meeting and expressed some concerns about the project. Following that meeting, the applicant met with Magna Water, had a productive meeting, and both the applicant and Magna are requesting or asking that the council continue this item until the October 24th council meeting.
Okay, thank you. So with this, if this motion goes through, would we want to handle them both together, or do you want them one at a time, Ms. Kamic?
I think with this one, we can just do it both. If you would name the ordinances, both ordinances in the motion,
Okay,
I think we're okay.
all right, thank you. With that clarification, I turn it to the council for discussion or a motion.
Motion to continue ordinance 2335 and 2336 until October 24th.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Ms. Kamic.
Councilman Fitzie Umanu.
Aye.
Councilman Whitstone,
Yes.
Councilman Harmon,
Yes.
Councilman Hune,
Aye.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
and Mayor Ling.
Yes.
Motion for continuance passes unanimously.
Okay, thank you. So as I noted earlier, we will not have a meeting next week. We did not have enough business. So our next meeting will be October 24th. And so with that, we have one more motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you. Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
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 And we stand adjourned.